Welcome back to OpenLine. We're talking with Wade Munday, Executive Director of Tennessee Justice for Our Neighbors. That's a nonprofit immigration law firm, talking about, obviously, all that's been in the news with this topic. Plenty of calls. Let's go to Drew. Hello, Drew.
Hello. Yes, I just have a comment about one of the big issues that I hear on this topic is about the cost and who pays and so on. And the thing of it is, we are already paying, for these families, adults, these children. When we hold them in detention centers, we become responsible for them. So I believe there is a DHS or an ICE report that's come out saying that we're currently paying $600 a month, I believe, to house these individuals. And of course, there's medical care and all kinds of things that come along with that. So we're already paying that high cost just to detain these people, where there are programs, electronic programs with ankle bracelets or any other number of electronic devices, where we would be paying $15 a day to not detain them, but still be able to keep track. So basically, this is by far the most expensive way to go about this type of action. And I think if we are really wanting to look at it from a fiscal side, not just the humanitarian side, this is just all in all a bad direction, bad policy.
To detain people.
Human.
Okay, all right, I get that.
Yeah.
I guess the other side would be, okay, yes, it does cost. The other side would be if there's just this, if it's unchecked, the cost could begin to get out of control as well.
Yeah, I think one place where we can find common ground here with what the caller said is it's very costly to detain people. The Trump administration would like to reduce costs, and they would also like to expedite the process. So you could detain people for $600 a day. I think I heard the same news report this morning. An ankle bracelet costs $18 a day at the most expensive ankle bracelet you can find, or you can provide legal services and expedited process for someone to access the court system and go through that process. And then once they become a green card holder in the United States, once they have a shot at the American dream, they will then begin to work and they will begin to contribute to our society. I firmly believe that we can provide access to justice that will then open doors for people to contribute to our society. And then I think we can have a serious conversation about how many people can we absorb into our country. I think that's a valid question, but when you look around the world and you look at Lebanon, that's received 3 million refugees from Syria, and Lebanon is a tiny country with a crumbling economy, but they're able to absorb those refugees because they have no other choice. Colombia is accepting refugees from Venezuela. Germany absorbed several million refugees from the Syrian conflict, and here in the United States, the current quotas for refugees is less than 45,000, and we're processing far fewer than that. I think that we do have the capacity to expand the number of people who are coming here, and that would contribute to our economic growth, I believe.
Let's go to Jeff. Hello, Jeff.
Hello.
Hello, go right ahead.
Yes, how you doing, Mr. Ben?
I'm doing all right.
Long-time listener, I love Channel 5.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask a question, how long can we do this and put up with this financially to take care of all the people? I don't always agree with the president, but I don't think we can feed the world. And my heart's broken to listen to all the sights and sounds of the children. We are a nation of moral laws and ethical laws, and we have to abide by them. We've got to do something. I agree with that. And is it a Democratic or Republican issue, Congress issue? That remains to be seen. But how are we going to fix this issue? We can't continue to allow people to come across the borders and just flood this border and water down our system if we have to continue putting out the economic issues for that. We've got to do something to help these people, but I don't understand what it is that we have to do for these people. Please tell me, what it is do we have to do?
Right. The concern about there's so many problem areas in the world. Can we absorb all the people that those areas are creating? And for some, it feels overwhelming.
Yeah, and it's, for me, the president is now in office, and he has a Republican Congress, and they have indicated that they would like to build a wall in order to keep people out of our country. I say do it if you can afford it, if it makes sense financially. They haven't done it yet. I think that's a sincere attempt by some people to try to respond to exactly what Jeff was saying there. I think that we spend a lot of money on overseas aid and investments. It is boggling for me to see the billions and billions of dollars that we spend overseas, and how are we spending it back here at home? I grew up in the church, and we traveled overseas for mission trips. I was fortunate to do that. But then I came back home and I thought, well, how can I serve my community here? And I think as a country, we need to do that too. I mean, it goes back to what Marsha was saying, is what are we doing right here? And sometimes we can serve others from other countries who are living right here in Middle Tennessee. And I think it's important that we remember that. We can't save the whole world, but I think we can do something right here in our communities. And again, it goes back to, we don't provide free housing or free food for these people. They do it on their own. We just need to provide them a way forward. I talk to so many farmers in Middle Tennessee, and they say, I've got great workers out in the fields. I just need to get them documented. I need to get a piece of paper for them. There's not a piece of paper for them to fill out. We need to provide a way for them to do that, because they'll work on our farms, they'll work in our communities, and their kids will go to school alongside ours and benefit the whole state.
And for me, I found it interesting when, again, you started talking about the numbers. And you look at other countries around the world, large numbers are being taken in. And we're not. Generally speaking, we're not.
Right.
But
it is something to be sensitive to. I think that we do need to continue to think, how many people can we absorb? And I drive around rural parts of Tennessee all the time, and I look and I think, there's plenty of room here, it seems. The cost of living is low. I think our churches would thrive in some of these small communities if people from Latin America were coming in to smaller towns and felt welcomed. And I think our businesses would grow, and I think our kids would experience an entirely new side of education if they saw what was happening in global events appearing right before their eyes in the classroom, if they're next to a child from Venezuela in their classroom or a child from Afghanistan. It's a new way of learning, I think.
Let me see. Jeff, are you back? Jeff, is that you?
Yes.
Did you want to add one other thing? Go ahead.
Yes, I wanted to ask him about the immigration policy.
All right, go ahead. You're on. What's on your mind? Go ahead.
Oh, yes. What's on my mind is, I was thinking about this the other day. I was listening to a lot of people bashing the president, saying he wasn't being, sensitive to it. But, suppose, me as an American citizen, if I got pulled over or I got arrested for criminal trespassing, and suppose I had my children with me, what's going to happen? They're going to take me to jail. They're going to process me, fingerprint me, mugshot me, make me make bonds, so forth, so on, go to court. Take my children away from me. Okay, what about the people that's coming across the border? I know they want asylum. Some are, some not. There may be terrorists, may not be. You can't judge everybody by that. But I'm just wondering, is a president a bad person for enforcing the laws that's already been on the books for years?
All right, well, let's talk about that. That is something, that question, it was used, I guess, to justify what was happening. But now today, President Trump has said he wants to reverse what's been going on. But what do you think about his question there?
So under the Obama administration, unlawfully entering the country was treated essentially as a civil crime. And so you were not placed in jail, you were not necessarily targeted by ICE agents just for unlawfully entering the country. It was still illegal, and you would still be deported. Obama was called the deporter-in-chief because he deported a lot of people under his administration. This zero-tolerance policy then treats unlawfully entering the country as a crime. And that is what's been unfair, is because unlawfully entering the country, being treated as a crime in this way means that there is no due process for the people who could be detained indefinitely. There is no way for these children now, as evidenced by the administration's policy, to be reunited with their family members, and it creates further chaos and confusion.
You think it's different? And apparently, again, many do, Democrats, Republicans, all came out against this, but it's different than what he's saying. He's saying if he went and committed a crime, he would be arrested and his children would be removed. This is a different sort of thing.
Right. It is someone who, under international law, has the right to come across our border and claim asylum, and they should be treated like they are victims of a horrible crime, not perpetrators of a horrible crime. There are people who have crossed into our country illegally, and they have committed horrible crimes, and they should be detained and deported immediately. But for the vast majority of other people, they should be treated with dignity and respect. And I mean, it sounds like Jeff is a really compassionate guy, and it sounds like Jeff feels for those people. And it's important that folks like Jeff are heard so that we can separate the real criminals from the victims of crimes.
All right, we're going to take another break, come back, and we'll get to your call. If you're on there, hold on. Take a break. Be back right after this.